G'day guys and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to go through the DNT ZULUS HD digital day and night scope. So full disclaimer up front, DNT did reach out to me and say, hey, do you want to review one of our scopes? We'll send you one. And I said yes. I actually did ask them to send the thermal clip-on, but they said, hey, no, we really want you to do this one first, and then maybe we will get you to do that one next. So they sent this one along now. This scope is on loan. This will have to go back to DNT once I'm finished. So just letting you guys know that there is that relationship there, but they did send me this and I will be sending it back on completion of this video. So some of the specs on this, it has a ballistic calculator. This one has an LRF, 60 frames per second. The best feature of it though is the fact that it is super compact and lightweight. Comparing it to some of the other night scopes that I have reviewed, it is half the weight and half the size. So that's the best thing about this. And being compact, you would think, hey, it's probably got worse performance than the other ones. It's actually really good, comparable to, if not exceeding, some of the other ones I reviewed, particularly in the fact that it has an inbuilt IR illuminator in it, which is so small, but also way more powerful than some of those standalone IR torches that are on some of the other systems. So it is a really good bit of kit. With the IR illuminator, you can change the spot to flood just by turning the ring at the front there. The laser, push to turn it on, and it will constantly update as you move that across the ground. You push and it will turn off. If you change modes between like day, night, or nighttime and then nighttime with the IR illuminator on, it will stop recording. So just be aware that, if you are trying to get a kill shot and you've got it recording and you change modes because you're like, hey, I need more light, and you turn the illuminator on, it will stop recording. You will have to press record again, but that's not really much of an issue. In the menu, which I can't really show you because you can't record the menu, there's a whole lot of options to go in there and do enhanced color, and you can change all your reticle colors, and you can do a whole lot of things within the menu as well. So there's a lot of different options, a lot of ways to play around with it. So I'm sure that you'll find a mode that suits you best. So looking at the scope itself, it's got a Picatinny rail on the right hand side just forward of the cap, which is where you put your SD card. So if you did want to mount any external torches or whatever to it, you could. You could also mount a red dot there for aiding in getting yourself onto target. The left hand button, if you press that, it goes through your mode. So you'll go IR mode with illuminator, or day mode. Rear of the power button is your zoom in, zoom out. Now you can't just flick it all the way to zoomed in, it will flick through. You've got to move it one step, it'll zoom in, wait like a second, move it one more step. So it was actually fairly slow to zoom in and out. So that might be a drawback for you. That might not bother you at all. So the button with the red ring around is to turn the LRF on and off. And as with most of these digital scopes, which I've mentioned many times before, the laser is an IR, so you are going to be able to see that light as it hits the ground to get you your range. One thing that was kind of annoying with this is, in this footage that you're watching, it's not going to show you the range. So whatever it records, it doesn't record all of your heads-up display information that you would see looking through it. It doesn't record all of that. So the far tree line, just to give you guys a bit of a understanding of what we're looking at, the far tree line is 168 meters away. This hair you're looking at is 110 meters away. That's with the IR illuminator on. So as I said, the compact IR illuminator you would think wasn't that good, but obviously it shines all the way out to this far. I guess if you wanted to shine further than say 200 meters, you may want to go up to a standalone IR illuminator. But let's be real guys, you're probably not going to shoot that far with this anyway. So for what it's designed for, I think it's perfectly fine. Now shooting through it was pretty good. This was a very windy day, and that's indicative of the groups that I shot, but that's more on the wind than it is on the optic. So it was an absolute pleasure to shoot with. Really easy to see through it, even without like an eye cup on it or anything. It's got the one-shot zero mode where you can go through your little menu and you just hold the gun still where it was aiming, you move it to the fullest shot, you exit zero mode, and then it moves your point of aim. That's pretty much bang on. Obviously that depends on how your gun's grouping. You wouldn't want to do it off one round if your gun was grouping like shit, because then it may not be very accurate. But it was accurate enough for me to be putting all these rounds onto the target at 100 meters in very windy conditions. I think it was about 60k an hour. It was that day, if you live in Brisbane, it was that day we had where it was super gusty about a week ago. So I was using my Ruger American Ranch, which I have in an MDT LSS Gen 2 XL chassis with an NV hood. It's got Magpul furniture on it. It has, you know, an extended mag thingy from Alpha Precision, and it has a wedge tail blast deflector on this. That's a cool little gun. That's my go-to test gun. If you haven't seen that on the channel before, that's the new channel gun for testing all of these different optics. The one-piece cantilever mount is really, really good quality. It has a really nice recoil lug within it. It actually has printed on it the torque specs, so when you do all the bolts up, you know exactly what to torque it to. It takes those standard like vaping batteries. One little drawback on it was, and this is the same on all of these night vision devices, is the manual focus. You know, it is very fiddly because you have such a shallow depth of field within night vision because it is illuminating the light so much. It's very touchy, so one little turn will change the focus a lot. If you're changing between, you know, distances or the animal's moving a lot, coming towards you, you will have to change that a fair bit, which can be annoying, but you know, it is what it is. That's just how these types of devices work. But all in all, I was very, very, very impressed with this optic. I've tested a fair few digital night vision scopes now, and I can hands down say that this one is the best of them so far. I mean, the technology is advancing so rapidly that I'm sure that in, you know, a couple of months this will be surpassed by something. But honestly, this thing is fantastic. Thank you to DNT for sending this out. I would really, really like to check out DNT's clip-on thermal. I think that would be an absolute weapon of a thing considering how good quality this is. And just to harp on more about the quality, the entire housing is machined aluminium, so it's all one massive billet. As opposed to some of those other ones where they have a lot of plastic parts. This whole thing, all the rings, like zoom rings and everything, is all aluminium. The only plastic parts is like the lens cap and obviously the rubber buttons. Everything else is solid aluminium, including the cap for putting your SD card in and everything. So it's a solid unit, but obviously it's still light because it is so small. So yeah, go and check out DNT optics. They're pretty bloody good. I hope you got something out of that. I will see you next video, and hooroo.